June 12, 2025 began as any other day, filled with the promise of new beginnings and the quiet routines that mark the start of life in cities across India. The sun rose over Ahmedabad, casting a golden hue on bustling streets as people hurried to work, children prepared for school, and travelers made their way to the airport, unaware of the tragedy that would soon unfold. At Ahmedabad's Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport, the atmosphere was lively but ordinary. Passengers checked in, exchanged farewells, and looked forward to their journeys, just as they had countless times before. Air India Flight AI-171, a state-of-the-art Boeing 787 Dreamliner, was scheduled for a long-haul journey to London Gatwick. On board were business travelers eager for meetings, families reuniting with loved ones, and tourists excited for new adventures. The crew, experienced and professional, prepared for what was expected to be a routine flight. The takeoff appeared smooth and uneventful, with the aircraft lifting gracefully into the sky. But less than a minute after liftoff, the unimaginable happened. An abrupt and catastrophic failure changed everything in an instant. The Dreamliner, unable to gain altitude, suddenly lost power and control. It plunged back toward the ground, crashing into a hostel for medical students just beyond the airport perimeter, shattering the lives of those on board and on the ground. The massive fuel load ignited on impact, erupting into a fierce inferno. Flames and thick black smoke engulfed the wreckage, making rescue efforts nearly impossible for the first responders who rushed to the scene. Of the 242 people on board, only one miraculously survived, a lone beacon of hope amid overwhelming devastation. The tragedy extended beyond the aircraft. Dozens more perished in the hostel and surrounding area, pushing the death toll to over 260 and leaving a community in shock and mourning. News of the disaster spread rapidly, sending shockwaves across India and around the globe. The crash was a stark reminder that even the most advanced technology cannot guarantee safety, and that tragedy can strike when least expected. For the families waiting at the airport and those watching from afar, hope quickly turned to heartbreak. The story of AI-171 became one of profound loss, unanswered questions, and a desperate search for the truth behind one of aviation's darkest days. The aftermath of the crash was marked by overwhelming grief and disbelief, echoing across both India and the UK. News of the tragedy spread rapidly, leaving entire communities in shock and sorrow. Families, friends, and colleagues struggled to process the sudden loss. Their lives forever changed in a single devastating moment. As names and faces emerged from the passenger list, the reality of the disaster became heartbreakingly clear. Each name represented a story, a dream, and a future that would never be realized. Vigils and condolences poured in from around the world. Communities gathered to light candles, offer prayers, and share memories of those lost. The outpouring of support was a testament to the deep connections that transcended borders. Meanwhile, the airport became a gathering point for desperate families, clinging to hope for news of their loved ones. The air was thick with anxiety and unanswered questions as officials struggled to provide updates. The crash of a modern Dreamliner rattled the aviation world. How could such a sophisticated jet, equipped with the latest technology, fail so catastrophically on takeoff? Experts and laypeople alike were left searching for explanations. Theories swirled in the days that followed. Was it a mechanical failure, human error, or perhaps a hidden design flaw? Investigators faced immense pressure to uncover the truth, knowing that the world was watching. Amid the chaos, the story of the sole survivor, Vishwas Kumar Ramesh, captured hearts everywhere. He became a symbol of both miraculous fortune and devastating loss, having survived the crash but losing his beloved brother in the tragedy. Vishwas's story personalized the tragedy, reminding the world that behind every statistic was a shattered family, grappling with unimaginable pain and searching for meaning in the aftermath. As the days turned into weeks, the demand for answers only grew louder. Journalists, officials, and families pressed for the truth, determined to understand what went wrong and to ensure that such a tragedy would never happen again. India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau, joined by experts from the UK, US, Boeing, and Rolls-Royce, launched a full-scale probe. The black boxes, cockpit voice and flight data recorders were quickly recovered, holding the key to the flight's final moments. Investigators meticulously mapped the wreckage, searching for signs of pre-impact failure in engines, wings and flaps. Every twisted piece of metal was a clue, helping reconstruct the disaster's timeline. While the official investigation continued, independent experts analyzed amateur footage and available data. Two main theories emerged: catastrophic engine failure and a possible flap malfunction. These early findings offered the first plausible explanations for the sudden, fatal descent. The world waited anxiously for the official report. Experts zeroed in on catastrophic engine failure during takeoff, a critical phase when the aircraft is heavy, slow, and vulnerable. While a 787 can fly on one engine at altitude, losing one just after takeoff leaves little margin for error. The plane would yaw and roll toward the dead engine, demanding instant, precise action from the pilots. With low altitude and airspeed, recovery is nearly impossible. Possible causes ranged from mechanical breakdowns to fuel or electronic malfunctions. The observed struggle to climb, followed by a rapid descent, fit this scenario. Engine failure at takeoff became a central focus for investigators. Some experts believed engine failure alone wasn't the whole story. A flap malfunction may have compounded the crisis. Flaps, essential for lift during takeoff, could have failed to extend or retracted unevenly, creating a deadly imbalance. If the wings didn't generate enough lift, the aircraft could stall immediately after liftoff. Amateur video suggested possible flap asymmetry. A simultaneous engine and flap failure would overwhelm any crew, leaving almost no chance for recovery. The combination of lost thrust and lift could explain the rapid, uncontrollable descent. This double failure nightmare became a leading theory. The cockpit voice recorder revealed the pilots issued a mayday call, evidence of a dire emergency. Reports indicated a severe loss of thrust, matching the engine failure theory. The cockpit, once calm, became chaotic. Alarms blared, warnings flashed, and the crew raced through emergency checklists. If both engine and flap failures struck, the pilots faced an impossible situation. Despite their training and professionalism, the combination of low altitude, low speed, and system failures left no room for recovery. The final moments captured on the recorder will help investigators understand the crew's heroic struggle. Their actions, though unable to prevent disaster, were a testament to their skill and resolve. The crash's human toll was devastating. Over 260 lives lost, each leaving behind grieving families and friends. In the aftermath, the city was enveloped in a heavy silence, as news of the tragedy spread from home to home. The pain was not just felt by those who lost loved ones, but by neighbors, colleagues, and classmates who struggled to comprehend the scale of the loss. Victims included families, students, professionals, and crew, their stories cut short in an instant. Each photograph and memory became a testament to lives filled with dreams and ambitions, now left unfulfilled. The community mourned not only for those lost, but for the futures that would never be realized. Identification was painstaking, with authorities working tirelessly to return loved ones to their families. For days, anxious relatives waited for news, clinging to hope, while officials worked through the night, determined to bring closure to the grieving. The sole survivor, Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, faced the agony of losing his brother, his survival a bittersweet miracle. His story became a symbol of both unimaginable loss and the fragile thread of hope that remained. The tragedy struck the local community especially hard, as the hostel's young medical students were among the victims. Their absence left a void in classrooms and dormitories, where laughter and ambition had once filled the air. Their loss sent shockwaves through the city and the medical community. Teachers, friends, and mentors gathered to honor their memory, united in grief and remembrance. The disaster left a lasting scar, physical and emotional, on Ahmedabad and beyond. Streets that once bustled with life now echoed with sorrow as the city struggled to heal. The true cost of the crash was measured in shattered lives and enduring grief. For many, the pain would never fully fade, But the community's resilience and compassion became a source of strength in the face of overwhelming loss. Air India faced a dual crisis, supporting victims' families and restoring public trust in its Dreamliner fleet. The airline launched immediate safety inspections of all 33 Boeing 787s, focusing on engines and flap systems. International flights were reduced to accommodate these checks, signaling a commitment to safety. The crash's impact rippled across the global aviation industry, prompting other airlines and regulators to scrutinize their own Dreamliners. If a design flaw was found, it could trigger worldwide inspections and modifications. Air India's response, grounding planes, cooperating with investigators, was the first step in a long road to recovery. Ultimately, public confidence would depend on the investigation's findings and the airline's actions. As the world awaits the final report, the investigation's outcome will shape the future of air safety. If engine or flap failures are confirmed, airlines and manufacturers may face sweeping changes in design, maintenance, and pilot training. The Dreamliner's advanced systems will be scrutinized for vulnerabilities. Every tragedy brings lessons. Regulations and practices will evolve to prevent a repeat. For families, the report offers closure and accountability. For aviation, it's a chance to strengthen the safety net for millions of travelers. The legacy of AI 171 will be written in safer skies and lives protected by hard-won knowledge.